Hare Krishna. So today we'll be hearing Lord Rishabdev instruction. Nayam deho deha bhajam triloke kashtan kaman arhate vidbhujam ye tapo divyam putrakayena sattvam shuddhe tasmat yasmat brahma sakhyam tvanantam. So if one wants to remain peaceful in this material world and go away from all the material miseries, these instructions are very important. Lord Rishabdev told his sons, "My dear boys, of all the living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, the one who has been awarded this human form of should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for dogs and hogs that eat stool. One should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activity, one's heart is purified, and when one attains this position, he attains eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness and which continues forever." Purport. In this verse, Lord Rishabdev tells his sons about the importance of human life. The word Dehabhak refers to anyone who accepts a material body, but living entity who is awarded the human form must act differently from animals. Animals like dogs and hogs enjoy sense gratification by eating stool. After undergoing severe hardships all day, human beings are trying to enjoy themselves at night by eating, drinking, having sex, and sleeping. At the same time, they have to properly defend themselves. However, this is not human civilization. Human life means voluntarily practicing suffering for the advancement of spiritual life. There is, of course, suffering in the lives of animals and plants, which are suffering due to their past misdeeds. However, human beings should voluntarily accept suffering in the form of austerities and penances in order to attain the divine life. After attaining the divine life, one can enjoy happiness eternally. After all, every living entity is trying to enjoy happiness. But as long as one is engaged in this material body, he has to suffer different kinds of misery. A higher sense is present in the human form. We should act according to superior advice in order to attain eternal happiness and go back to Godhead. I repeat, we should act according to superior advice in order to attain eternal happiness and go back to Godhead. It is significant in this verse that the government and the natural guardian, the father, should educate subordinates and raise them to Krishna consciousness. Devoid of Krishna consciousness, every living being suffers in the cycle of birth and death perpetually. To relieve them from this bondage and enable them to become blissful and happy, Bhakti Yoga should be taught. A foolish civilization neglects to teach people how to rise to the platform of Bhakti Yoga. Without Krishna consciousness, a person is no better than a hog or dog. The instruction of Rishabdev are very essential at the present moment. People are being educated and trained to work very hard for sense gratification, and there is no sublime aim in life. A man travels to earn his livelihood, leaving home early in the morning, catching a local train, and being packed in a compartment. He has to stand for an hour or two in order to reach his place of business. Then again, he takes a bus to get to the office. At the office, he works hard from 9 to 5. Then he takes 2 or 3 hours to return home. After eating, he has sex and goes to sleep. For all this hardship, his only happiness is the little sex. Yan maithunadi grihamedi sukham hitucham. Rishabdev clearly states that human life is not meant for this kind of existence, which is enjoyed even by dogs and hogs. Indeed, dogs and hogs do not have to work so hard for sex. A human being should try to live in a different way and should not try to imitate dogs and hogs. The alternative is mentioned. Human life is meant for tapasya, austerity, and penance. By tapasya, one can get out of the material clutches. When one is situated in Krishna consciousness devotion service, his happiness is guaranteed eternally, is guaranteed eternally. By taking to Bhakti Yoga devotional service, one's existence is purified. The living entity is seeking happiness life after life, but he can make a solution to all his problems, simply by practicing Bhakti Yoga. Then he immediately becomes eligible to return home back to Godhead, as come found in Bhagavad Gita. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah taktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so arjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, takes his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode. O Arjuna, Krishna says this. Mahatsevam dvaram mahurvimuktes tamo dvaram yoshitam sangi sangam Bhantaste samachitta prashanta viman yava surida sadhavo ye. Mahatsevam. One can attain the path of liberation from material bondage only by rendering service to highly advanced spiritual personalities. These personalities are impersonalists and devotees. Whether one wants to merge into Lord's existence or wants to associate with the personality of Godhead, one should rather service to the Mahatmas. For those who are not interested in such activities, who associate with people fond of women and sex, the path to hell is wide open. The Mahatmas are equipoised. They do not see any difference between one living entity and another. They are very peaceful and fully engaged in devotion service. They are devoid of anger and they work for the benefit of everyone. They do not behave in any abominable way. Such people are known as Mahatmas. Purport. The human body is like a junction. One may either take the path of liberation or the path leading to a hellish condition. How can one can take this path is described herein. On the path of liberation, one associates with Mahatmas, and on the path of bondage, one associates with those attached to sense gratification and women. There are two types of Mahatmas: the impersonalist and the devotee. Although their ultimate goal is different, the process of emancipation is almost the same. Both want eternal happiness. One seeks happiness in impersonal Brahman, and the other seeks happiness in the association of Supreme Personality of Godhead. As described in this first verse, Brahma Saukhyam. Brahman means spiritual or eternal. Both the impersonalists and devotees seek eternal blissful life. In any case, it is a device that one become perfect. In the words of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22.87. असत्संग त्याग ए वैष्णव आचार स्त्री संगी एक असाधु कृष्ण भक्त आर. To remain unattached to the modes of material nature, one should avoid associating with those who are asat materialistic. There are two kinds of materialistic. One, he is attached to the human and sense gratification, and the other is simply a non-devotee. On the positive side is association with Mahatmas, and on the negative side is avoidance of non-devotees and human underdogs. ये वै ये वा मय्यसे कृतसौहृदार्था जानेषु देहाम्भरवर्तिकेषु ग्रहेषु जयात्माज प्रतिमात्सु न प्रीतियुक्ताय पदार्थश्च लोके. Those who are interested in reviving Krishna consciousness and increasing their love of God do not like to do anything that is not related to Krishna. They are not interested in mingling with people who are busy maintaining their bodies, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. They are not attached to their homes, although they may be householders, nor are they attached to wives, children, friend, or wealth. At the same time, they are not indifferent to the execution of their duties. Such people are interested in collecting only enough money to keep the body and soul together. Purport. Whether he is an impersonalist or a devotee, one who is actually interested in advancing spiritually should not mingle with those who are simply interested in maintaining the body as means of so-called advancement of civilization. Those who are interested in spiritual life should not be attached to homely comforts in the company of wife, children, friends, and so forth. Even if one is grahastha and has to earn his livelihood, he should be satisfied by collecting only enough money to maintain body and soul together. One should not have more than or nor less than that. As indicated herein, a householder should endeavor to earn money by the execution of Bhakti Yoga. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. A householder should lead such a life that he gets full opportunity to hear and chant. He should worship the deity at home, observe festivals, invite friends in and give them prasad. A householder should earn money for this purpose, not for sense gratification. नूनं भ्रमत्ता कुरुते विकर्म यत् इन्द्रियप्रीतिरपृणोति न साधु मन्ये यत आत्मनो अयम् असन्नपि क्लेशात् असदेहा. When a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activity. He does not know that due to his past misdeeds, he has already received a body which, although temporary, is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on the material body, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think it not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification, by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after another. But begging, borrowing, and stealing to live for sense gratification is condemned in this verse because such consciousness lead one to dark, hellish condition. The four sinful activities are illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling. These are the means by which one gets another material body that is full of miseries. In the Vedas, it is said, Asango hi ayam purusha. The living entity is not really connected with this material world, but due to his tendency to enjoy the material senses, he is put into the material condition. One should perfect his life by associating with devotees. He should not become further implicated in the material body. परभावस्तवत् अबोधजातो यावन्न जिज्ञासत आत्मतत्त्वम् यावत् क्रियस्तवत् इदं मनोवये कर्मात्मकं येन शरीरबन्धा. As long as one does not inquire about the spiritual values of life, one is defeated and subjected to miseries arising from ignorance. Be it sinful or pious, karma has its resultant actions. If a person is engaged in any kind of karma, his mind is called karmatmaka, colored with fruited activity. As long as the mind is impure, consciousness is unclear, and as long as one is absorbed in fruited activity, he has to accept a material body. But generally, people think that one should act very piously in order to be relieved from misery, but this is not a fact. Even though one engages in pious activity and speculation, he is nonetheless defeated. His only aim should be emancipation from the clutches of Maya and all material activities. Speculative knowledge and pious activity do not solve the problems of material life. One should be inquisitive to understand his spiritual position. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.37, यथैधांसि संसिद्धि समीधो अग्निर भास्मत् सात् कुरुते अर्जुन ज्ञानग्नि सर्वकर्माणि भस्म सत् कुरुते तथा. As the blazing fire turns ash firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. Unless one understands the self and its activities, one has to be considered in material bondage. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10.2.32, it is also said, Ye anye aravindaksha vimukta maninas vaye astabhavat avishuddha buddhaye. A person who doesn't have knowledge of devotional service may think himself liberated, but actually he is not. Aruha krichena param padam tataha patanti adho anadritta yusmat angrahaya. Such people may approach the impersonal Brahman effulgence, but they fall down again into material enjoyment because they have no knowledge of devotional service. As long as one is interested in karma and jnana, he continues to endure the miseries of material life, birth, old age, death, and disease. Karmis certainly take one body after another. As far as jnanis are concerned, unless they are promoted to topmost understanding, they must return to the material world. I explained in Bhagavad Gita 7.19. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate. The point is to know Krishna, Vasudev as everything and surrender onto him. Karmis do not know this, but a devotee who is 100% engaged in devotional service of the Lord knows fully what is karma and jnana. Therefore, a pure devotee is no longer interested in karma or jnana. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyanavritam. The real bhakta is untouched by any tinge of karma and jnana. His only purpose in life is to serve the Lord. एवं मना कर्म वासं प्रयुङ्क्ते अविद्यायात्मने उपाधीयमाने प्रीतिर्नया वन्मयि वासुदेवे नामुच्यते देहयोगेन तावत्. When the living entity is covered by the mode of ignorance, he does not understand the individual living being and supreme living being, and his mind is subjugated to fruitive activity. Therefore, until one has love for Lord Vasudev, who is none other than myself, means Lord Rishabdev, he is certainly not delivered from having to accept a material body again and again. Purport. When the mind is polluted by fruitive activity, the living entity wants to be elevated from one material position to another. Generally, everyone is involved in working hard and day night to improve his economic condition. Even when one understands the Vedic rituals, he becomes interested in promotion to heavenly planets, not knowing that one's real interest lies in returning home back to Godhead. Acting on the platform of fruitive activity, one wanders throughout the universe in different species and forms. Unless he comes in contact with a devotee of the Lord, a guru, he does not become attached to service of Lord Vasudeva. Knowledge of Vasudeva requires many words to understand. As confirmed Bhagavata Vasudev Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. After struggling for existence for many birds, one may take shelter at lotus feet of Vasudeva Krishna. When this happens, one actually becomes wise and surrenders unto him. That is the only way to stop the repetition of birth and death. I repeat, one actually becomes wise and surrenders unto him, and that is the only way to stop the repetition of birth and death. This is confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 19.151. The instruction given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Srila Rup Goswami, the Shashwamedh Ghat. ब्रह्मांडा भरमिति को न भाग्यवान जीवा Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. The living entity wanders throughout different planets in different forms and bodies, but if by chance he comes in contact with the bona fide spiritual master, by the grace of spiritual master, he receives Lord Krishna's shelter and his devotional life begins. यदा न पश्यते अयथा गुणेऽहं स्वार्थे प्रमत्ता सहस विपाश्चित् गतस्मृतिर्विन्दाति तत्तपन् asadya maithunyam agaram agna. Even though one may be very learned and wise, he is mad if he does not understand that the endeavor for sense gratification is useless waste of time. Being forgetful for his own interest, he tries to be happy in this material world, centering his interest around his home, which is based on sexual intercourse, and which brings him all kinds of material miseries. In this way, one is no better than a foolish animal. Purport. The lowest stage of devotional service, one is not an unalloyed devotee. Anya Bilashita Shunyam Gyan Karma Dhyanavrita. To be an unalloyed devotee, one must be freed from the material desires, untouched by fruitive activity and speculative knowledge. On the lower platform, one may sometimes be interested in philosophical speculation with a tinge of devotion. However, at the stage, one is still interested in sense gratification and is contaminated by the modes of material nature. The influence of Maya is so strong that even a person advanced in knowledge actually forgets that he is Krishna's eternal servant. Therefore, he remains satisfied in the household life, which is centered around sexual intercourse. Conceding to a life of sex, he agrees to suffer all kinds of material miseries. Due to ignorance, one is thus bound by the chain of material laws. So we are Krishna's eternal servant, and we forget that. पुंसा स्त्रिया मैथुना भवमेतं तायोर्मिथो हृदया ग्रन्थिमाहु अतो ग्रहक्षेत्रसुताप्तवृत्तैर्जनस्य मोहो अयम् अहं ममेति. The attraction between the male and female is the basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception, which ties together the hearts of male and female, one becomes attracted to his body, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. In this way, one increases life illusions and thinks in terms of I and mine. Purport. Sex serves as the natural attraction between man and woman. And when they are married, the relationship becomes more involved due to the entangling relationship between man and woman. The sense of illusion whereby one thinks this man is my husband or this woman is my wife. This is called Hridaya Granthi, the hard knot in the heart. This knot is very difficult to undo, even though a man and woman separate, either in the principle of Varnashram or simply to get a divorce. In any case, the man always thinks of the woman, and the woman always thinks of the man. Thus, a person becomes materially attached to the family, property, children. And although all of these are temporary, the processor unfortunately identifies with his property and wealth. Sometimes, even after renunciation, one becomes attached to a temple or to a few things that constitute the property of sannyasi. But such attachment is not as strong as family attachment. Attachment to the family is the strongest illusion. In the Satya Samhita, it is stated, ब्रह्माद्य यज्ञवल्क्याद्य मुच्यन्ते स्त्रीसहायाय बोध्यन्ते केचन तेषां विशेषं च विदो विदु. Sometimes it is found among exalted personalities that like Lord Brahma, that the wife and children are not a cause of bondage. On the contrary, the wife actually helps further spiritual life and liberation. Nonetheless, most people are bound by not some their martial relationship, and consequently they forget their relationship with Krishna. I repeat, most people are bound by the knots of the marital relationship, and consequently they forget their relationship with Krishna. यदा मनोहृदय ग्रन्थिस् अस्य कर्मानुबद्धो दृढस्तथेता तदज्ञान संपरिवर्तते अस्मात् मुक्तपरं यते अतिहाय हेतुम्. When the strong knot in the heart of person implicated in material life due to results of past action is slackened, one turns away from his attachment to home, wife, and children. In this way, one gives up the principle of illusion, I and mine, and becomes liberated. Thus, one goes to the transcendental world. Purport. When by associating with sadhus and engaging in devotion service, one is gradually freed from the material conception due to knowledge, practice, and detachment. The knot of attachment in the heart is slackened. Thus, one get freed from conditional life and become eligible to return home back to Godhead. हमसे गुरौ मयि भक्त्यानुवृत्य वृत्तृष्णया द्वन्द्वतितिक्षया च सर्वत्र जन्तोर्विसा व्यसानावगत्या जिज्ञासया तपसेह निवृत्त्या मत्कर्मभिर्मत्कथाय च नित्यं मद्देव सङ्गात् गुणकीर्तनं मे निर्वैर संयोपशमेन पुत्रा जिहसया देहगेहात्मबुद्धि आध्यात्मयोगेन विविक्तसेवया प्राणेन्द्रियात्मजभिजायेन साधृतक् सश्रद्धया ब्रह्मचर्येण शश्वत् अस्यं प्रमादेन यमेन वाचं सर्वत्र मद्भावविचक्षणेन ज्ञानेन विज्ञानविराजितेन योगेन आधृतये योगेन धृतये उद्यमसत्त्वयुक्तो लिङ्गं व्यपोहेत कुशलोऽयम् आख्यम्. Translation. O my sons, you should accept a highly elevated Paramahansa, a spiritually advanced spiritual master. In this way, you should place your faith and love in me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You should detach sense gratification and tolerate the duality of pleasure and pain, which are like the seasonal changes of summer and winter. Try to realize the miserable condition of living entities who are miserable even in the higher planetary systems. Philosophically inquire about the truth, then undergo all kind of austerities and penances for the sake of devotion service. Give up the endeavor for sense enjoyment and engage in the service of the Lord. Listen to the discussions about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always associate with devotees. Chant about and glorify the Supreme Lord and look upon everyone equally on the spiritual platform. Give up enmity and subdue anger and lamentation. Abandon identifying the self with the body and home, and practice reading the revealed scriptures. Live in a secluded place and practice a process by which you can completely control your life, air, mind, and senses. Have full faith in the revealed scriptures, the Vedic literatures, and always observe celibacy, perform your prescribed duties, and avoid unnecessary talks. Always thinking of the Supreme Person of Godhead, acquire knowledge from the right source, thus practicing Bhakti Yoga. You will patiently and enthusiastically be elevated in knowledge and will be able to give up the false ego. But in these four verses, Rishabdev tells his sons how they can be freed from the false identification arising from false ego and material conditional life. One gradually becomes liberated by practicing as mentioned above. All these methods, prescribed methods, enable one to give up the material body, lingam vyapohat, and be situated in his original spiritual body. First of all, one has to accept a bona fide spiritual master. This is advocated by Sri Arup Goswami in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Sri Guru Padashraya. To be freed from the entanglement of the material world, one has to approach a spiritual master. Tad Vijnanartham Sa Gurum Eva Bigachet. By questioning the spiritual master and by serving him, one can advance in his spiritual life. When one engages in devotional service, naturally the attraction for personal comfort, for eating, sleeping, and dressing is reduced. By associating with the devotee, a spiritual standard is maintained. The word Mad Deva Sangat is very important. There are so many so called religions devoted to the worship of various demigods, but here good association means association with one who simply accepts Krishna as his worshipable deity. Another important item is Vandati Diksha. As long as one is situated in the material world, there must be pleasure and pain arising from the material body. As Krishna advises in Bhagavad Gita, Tam Shasva Bharata. One has to learn how to tolerate this temporary pains and pleasures from the material of this material world. One must also be detached from his family and practice celibacy. Sex with one wife, according to scriptures, scriptural instruction, is also accepted as brahmacharya, celibacy. But illicit sex is opposed to religious principles, and it hampers advancement in spiritual consciousness. Another important word is Vijnana Virajita. Everything should be done very scientifically and consciously. One should be a realized soul. In this way, one can give up the entanglement of material bondage. As Sri Madhvacharya points out, the sum substance of these four shlokas is that one should refrain from acting out of desire for sense gratification and should instead always engage in the Lord's loving service. In other words, Bhakti Yoga is the acknowledged path of liberation. Sri Madhvacharya quotes from the Adhyatma. आत्मनो अविहितं कर्म वर्जयित्वाङ्गकर्मणा कामस्य च परित्यागो निरीहेति आहुर्त्तमः. One should perform activities only for the benefit of the soul. Any other activity should be given up. When a person is situated in this way, he is said to be desireless. Actually, a living entity cannot be totally desireless, but when he desires for the benefit of soul and nothing else, he is said to be desireless. Spiritual knowledge is Vijnana Samanvita. When one is fully equipped with Jnana and Vijnana, he is perfect. Jnana means that one understands the Supreme Person of Godhead Vishnu to be the Supreme Being. Vijnana refers to the activities that liberate one from ignorance of material existence. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Jnanam Param Guhyam Meyat Vijnana Samanvitam. Knowledge of the Supreme Lord is very confidential, and the supreme knowledge by which one understands Him further, the liberation of all living entities. The knowledge is Vijnana, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.9. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah tvaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti suvarjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, takes his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Text 14. Karmasayam hridaya granthi bandham avidyaya saditam apramata anena yogena yathopadesam samyak vyapohyo parameta yogat. Translation. As I advise you, my dear sons, you should act accordingly. Be very careful. By these means, you will free from the ignorance of the desire for frivolity activity, and the knot of bondage in the heart will be completely severed. And for further advancement, you should also give up the means. That is, you should not become attached to the process of liberation itself. Purport. The process of liberation is Brahma Jigyasa, the search for the absolute truth. Really, Brahma Jigyasa is called Neti Neti, the process by which one analyzes existence to search out the absolute truth. These methods continue as long as one is not situated in spiritual life. Spiritual life is Brahma Bhuta, the self-realized state. In other words, Bhagavad Gita 18.54. ब्रह्मभूता प्रसन्नात्मा न शोचति न काङ्क्षति समः सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद्भक्तिं लभते पराम्. One who is transcendently situated at once realizes Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity in that state, attains pure devotion service unto me, unto Krishna. The idea is to enter into the Parabhakti, the transcendental devotion service of the Supreme Lord. To attain this, one must analyze one's existence. But when one is actually engaged in devotional service, he should no bother seeking out knowledge. By simply engaging in devotional service undeviatingly, one will always reign in liberated condition. Mam chayo abhyabhichareena bhakti yogena sevate saguna samati taitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Bhagavad Gita 14.26. The unflinching execution of devotional service is in itself Brahmabhuta. Another important feature in this connection is Anena Yogena Yathopadesham. The instruction received from the spiritual master must be followed immediately. One should not deviate from or surpass the instruction of the spiritual master. One should not be simply intent on consulting books, but should simultaneously execute the spiritual master order. Yathopadesham. Mystic power should be achieved to enable one to give up the material conception. But when one is actually engaged in devotional service, one need not to practice the mystic yoga system. The point is that one can give up the practice of yoga, but devotional service cannot be given up. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. आत्मरामच मुनियो निरग्रन्थे अपि रुक्रमे कुर्वन्ति हेतु किं भक्तिमित्तं भूतं गुणो हरि. For those who are liberated, Atmaram must always engage in devotional service. One may give up the practice of yoga when one is self-realized, but at no stage one can give up devotional service. All other activities for self-realization, including yoga and philosophical speculation, may be given up, but devotional service must be retained at all times. Putram sishyam shanipo gururva mallokakamo mad anugrahartha इत्थं विमन्युर्हनुशिष्याद् अतज्यन् नो योजयत् कर्मसु कर्ममूढान् काम योजयन् मनुजो अर्थं लभेत निपातायन्नष्ट दृशं हि गर्ते. Translation: If one is serious about going back home, back to Godhead, he must consider the mercy of Supreme Person of Godhead, the summum bonum and chief aim of life. If his father instructing his sons, a spiritual master instructing his disciples, or a king instructing his disciples, he must instruct them as I have advised. Without being angry, he should continue giving instructions, even if the disciple or citizen, son or citizen is sometimes unable to follow his order. Ignorant people who engage in pious and impious activities should be engaged in devotional service by all means. They should always avoid fruited activity. If one puts into the bondage of karmic activity his disciple, son, or citizen, who is bereft of transient vision, how will one profit? It is like leaving a blind man to a dark well and causing him to fall in. Purport. It stated in Bhagavad Gita 3.26. Na buddhi bhedam janayed agnayam karma sangina joshayed sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharan. Let not the wise disturb their minds, the ignorant disturb the minds of the ignorant who are attached to fruitive action. They should be encouraged not to refrain from work, but to work in the spirit of devotion. Text 16. लोकः स्वयं श्रेयसि नष्टदृष्टिर् यो अर्थान् संह्येत निकम काम अन्योन्यवैरा सुखलेशहेतोरनन्तदुःखं च न वेदमूढा. Translation. Due to ignorance, the materialistic person does not know anything about his real self-interest, the auspicious path in life. He is simply bound to material enjoyment by lusty desires, when all his plans are made for his purpose. For temporary sense gratification, such a person creates a society of envy, and due to this mentality, he plunges into the ocean of suffering. Such a foolish person does not even know about this. Parapat. The word Nashtadrishta, meaning one who has no eyes to see the future, is very significant in this verse. Life goes on from one body to another, and the activities performed in this life are enjoyed or suffered in the next life, if not later in this life. One who is not one who is unintelligent, who has no eyes to see the future, simply creates enmity and fights with others for sense gratification. As a result, one suffers in the next life, but due to being like a blind man, he continues to act in such a way and he suffers unlimitedly. Such a person is a Muda who simply wastes his time and does not understand the Lord's devotion service, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.25. Naham prakashaya sarvasya yogamaya samavrita mudo ayam abhijanati loko mam ayam ajam avyayam. I am never manifest to the foolish and undiligent. For them I am covered by my eternal creative potency Yogamaya, and so the deluded world knows me not, who am unborn and infallible. In the Katha Upanishad it is also said, Avidyayam antare vartamana swayam dhira pandita manyamana. Although ignorant, people still go to the blind man for leadership. As a result, both are subjected to miserable conditions. The blind lead the blind into the ditch. Text number 17. Kastam swayam tad abhigno vipashchit avidyayam antare vartamanam दृष्ट्वा पुनस्तं सङ्गृह्णन् कुबुद्धिं प्रयोजयेत् उत्पाठागं यथन्दम्. If someone is ignorant and addicted to the path of samsara, how can one who is actually learned, merciful, and advanced spiritual knowledge engage him in fruitive activity and thus further entangle him in material existence? If a blind man is walking down the wrong path, how can a gentleman allow him to continue on his way to danger? How can he approve this method? No wise or kind man can allow this. Gurur na sasyat svajano na nasyasat pita na sasyat jarni na sasyat daivam na tatsyan na patischya sasyan namo chayedya samupetam rityam. One who cannot deliver his dependents from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master, a father, a husband, a mother, or a worshipable demigod. Purport. There are many spiritual masters, but Rishabdev advises that one should not become a spiritual master if he is unable to save his disciple from the path of birth and death. Unless one is a pure devotee of Krishna, he cannot save himself from the path of repeated birth and death. Tvaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sojana. One can stop birth and death only by returning home back to Godhead. However, who can go back to Godhead unless he understands the Supreme Lord in truth? Janma karma cha me divyam evam yaveti tatvata. We have many instances in history illustrating Rishabdev instructions. Shukracharya was rejected by Bali Maharaj due to his inability to serve, save Bali Maharaj from the path of repeated birth and death. Shukracharya was not a pure devotee. He was more or less inclined to fruited activity, and he objected when Bali Maharaj promised to give everything to Lord Vishnu. Actually, one is supposed to give everything to the Lord because everything belongs to the Lord. Consequently, the Supreme Lord advised in Bhagavad Gita, Yat karosi yad asnasi yad yujosi tadasi yat tapasyasi kante tat kurushva madarpanam. O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering unto me, Krishna. This is bhakti. Unless one is devotee unto Krishna, unless one is devoted, he cannot give everything to the Supreme Lord. Unless one can do so, he cannot become a spiritual master, husband, father, or mother. Similarly, the wives of Brahmanas who were performing sacrifices gave up their relatives just to satisfy Krishna. This is an example of wife rejecting a husband who cannot deliver him her from the impending dangers of birth and death. Sindhi Prahlad Maharaj rejected his father, and Bharat Maharaj rejected his mother, Janani Nasita. The word Daivam indicates a demigod or one who accepts worship from a dependent. Ordinarily, the spiritual master, husband, father, mother, or superior relative accept worship from an inferior relative. But here, Rishabdev forward this. First, the father, spiritual master, or husband must be able to release the dependent from repeated birth and death. If he cannot do this, he plunges himself into the ocean of reproachment for his unlawful activities. Everyone should be very responsible and take charge of his dependent just as a spiritual master takes charge of a disciple or a father takes charge of his son. All the responsibilities cannot be discharged honestly unless one can save the dependent from repeated birth and death. इदं शरीरं मम दुर्विभाव्यं सत्त्वं हि मे हृदयं यत्र धर्म पृष्ठे कृतो मे यद्धर्म आरत् अतो हि मां वृषभं प्राहुररया. Translation. Rishabdev says, the Lord Rishabdev says, my transcendent body, Sachidanand Vigraha, looks exactly like a human form, but it is not a material human body. It is inconceivable. I am not forced to by nature to accept a particular type of body. I take on a body by my own sweet will. My heart is also spiritual, and I always think of the welfare of my devotees. Therefore, within my heart can be found the process of devotional service, which is meant for the devotees. Far from my heart have I abandoned religion, adharma, and non-devotional activities. They do not appeal to me. Due to these transcendental qualities, people generally pray to me as Rishabdev, the supreme son of Godhead, the best of all living entities. Purport. In this verse, the word idam shariram mama durvibhavyam are very significant. Generally, we experience two energies, material energy and spiritual energy. We have some experience of material energy, earth, water, air, fire, ether, mind, energy, and ego. Because in the material world, everyone's body is composed of these elements. Within the material body is the spirit soul, but we cannot see it with the material eyes. When we see a body full of spiritual energy, it is very difficult for us to understand how the spiritual energy can have a body. It's said that Lord of the body is completely spiritual, therefore, for a materialistic person, it is very difficult to understand. For a materialistic person, the complete spiritual body is inconceivable. We have to accept the version of Vedas when our experimental perception cannot understand a subject. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha. The Supreme Lord is a body with form, but that body is not composed of material elements. It is made up of spiritual bliss, eternity, and living force. By the inconceivable energy of the Supreme Person of Godhead, the Lord can appear before us in his original spiritual body, but because we have no experience of the spiritual body, we are sometimes bewildered and see the form of Lord as material. The Mayavadi philosophers are completely unable to conceive a spiritual body. They say that spirit is always impersonal, and wherever they see something personal, they take it for granted that it is material. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Avajananti mamura manushim tanumashrita param bhavamajananto mamabhuta vaishwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that be. Unreasoned people think that a Supreme Lord accepts a body composed of the material energy. He can easily understand the material body, but we cannot understand the spiritual body. Therefore, Rishabdev says, Idam Shariram Mama Durvibhavyam. In the spiritual world, everyone has a spiritual body. There is no conception of material existence there. In the spiritual, there is only one service and the receiving of service. There is only seva or sevaka, the person served, the process of service, and the servant. These three items are completely spiritual, and therefore the spiritual world is called absolute. There is no tinge of material conception there. Being completely transcendental to the material conception, Lord Shivdev states that his art is composed of dharma. Dharma is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Swadharman parityaja smami kamisharanam raja. The spiritual every dignity is surrendered to the Supreme Lord. Is completely on the spiritual platform. Although they are servitors, the served and service, all are spiritual and varied. At the present moment, due to our material conception, everything is Durvibhavya, inconceivable. Being the supreme, the Lord is the Rishabh, called Rishabh, the best. In terms of Vedic language, Nitya Nityanam, we are also spiritual, but we are subordinate. Krishna, the supreme Lord, is the foremost living entity. The word Rishabh means the chief, the supreme, indicates the supreme being of God himself. तस्मात् भवन्तु हृदयेन जाता सर्वे महीयान् सममुं सनातम् अक्लिष्टबुद्ध्या भरतं भजाध्वं शुश्रूषानं तद्भरणं प्रजानम्. Translation: My dear boys, you are all born of my heart, which is the seat of all spiritual qualities. Therefore, you should not be like materialistic and envious men. You should accept your eldest brother, Bharata, who is exalted in devotion service. If you engage yourself in Bharata's service, your service to him will include my service, and you will rule the citizens automatically. Purport. In this verse, the word Hridaya indicates the heart, which is also called Ura, the chest. The heart is situated within the chest, and although instrumentally the son is born with the aid of genitals, he is actually born from within the heart. According to heart situation, the semen takes the form of a body. According to Vedic system, when one begets his child, his child should be purified through the ritualistic ceremony known as Garbhadhana. Rishabdev heart was always uncontaminated and spiritual. Consequently, all the sons born from the heart of Rishabdev were spiritually inclined. Nonetheless, Rishabdev suggested that his eldest son was superior and he advised the other to serve him. All the brothers of Bharat Maharaj were advised by Rishabdev to adhere to Bharata's service. The question may be asked why one should be attached to family members, for in the beginning it was advised that one should not be attached to home and family. However, it also the Mahiya Shampada Raja Abhishek. One has to serve the Mahiyan, who is spiritually very advanced. Mahatsevam Dvaram Ahur Vimukte. By serving the Mahat, the exalted devotee, one's path for liberation is open. The family of Rishabdev should be not be compared to an ordinary materialistic family. Bharat Maharaj, Rishabdev's eldest son, was specifically very exalted. For this reason, the other sons were advised to serve him for his pleasure. That was to be their duty. The Supreme Lord was advising Bharat Maharaj to be the chief ruler of the planet. This is the real plan of Supreme Lord. In the battlefield of Kurukshetra, we find that Lord Krishna wanted Maharaj Yudhishthira to be the supreme emperor of the planet. He never wanted Duryodhana to take the post. As stated in previous verse, Lord Rishabdev heart is Hridayam Yatra Dharma. The characteristic dharma is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. Surrender unto the Supreme Person of Godhead to protect dharma. Paritranaya sadhunam. The Lord always wants the ruler of the earth to be a devotee. Then everything goes on very nicely for the benefit of everyone. As soon as a demon rules the earth, everything becomes chaotic. At the present moment, the world is inclined toward the democratic process, but the people in general are all contaminated by the modes of passion and ignorance. Consequently, they cannot select the right person to be the head of government. The president is selected by the votes of ignorant Shudras. Therefore, another Shudra is selected. And immediately the entire government becomes polluted. If people strictly follow the principle of Bhagavad Gita, they would elect a person from who is a Lord devotee. Then automatically there would be a good government. Shabdev therefore recommended Bharat Maharaj as the emperor of the planet. Serving a devotee means serving the Supreme Lord. For a devotee always represents the Lord. When the devotee is in charge, the government is always congenial and beneficial for everyone. भूतेष्ववृद्ध्या उदुतामये सरीसृषप्स् तेषु सबोधनिष्ठा ततो मनुष्या प्रमतस्ततोऽपि गन्धर्वसिद्धा विबुधानुगाये देवासुरेभ्यो मघवत्प्रधान दक्षादयो ब्रह्मसुतस्तु तेषां भवापरः सो अथा विरिञ्च वीरा समत्परो अहं द्विजादेव देवा. Translation: of the two energies manifest, spirit and dull matter, beings possessing living force, vegetables, grass, trees, and plants, are superior to dull matter, stone, earth, etc. Superior to non-moving plants and vegetables are worms and snakes, which can move. Superior to worms and snakes are animals that have developed intelligence. Superior to animals are human beings, and superior to human beings are ghosts because they have no material bodies. Superior to ghosts are Gandharvas, and superior to them are Siddhas. Superior to the Siddhas are Kinnaras, and superior to them are the Asuras. Superior to the Asuras are the demigods, and the demigods, Indra, the king of heaven, is supreme. Superior to Indra are the direct sons of Lord Brahma. Sons like the king Daksha and supreme among Brahma's sons is Lord Shiva. Since Lord Shiva is the son of Brahma, Lord Brahma is considered superior. But Brahma is also subordinate to me, the supreme personality of Godhead, because I am inclined to the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas are best of all. Purport. In this verse, the Brahmanas are given a position superior to that of the Supreme Lord. The idea is that government should be conducted under the guidance of Brahmanas. Although Rishabdev recommended his elder son Bharata as the emperor of the earth, he still had to follow the instruction of the Brahmanas in order to govern the world perfectly. The Lord is worshipped as Brahmana Deva. The Lord is very fond of devotees of Brahmanas. This is not referred to so-called caste Brahmins, but the qualified Brahmanas. A Brahmana should be qualified with the eight qualities mentioned in the text 24 as Samadama Satyatanti Diksha. The Brahmana should always be worshipped under the guidance. The ruler should discharge his duty and rule the citizens. Unfortunately, in this age of Kali, the executive is not selected by very intelligent people, nor is he guided by qualified Brahmanas. Consequently, chaos results. The mass of people should be educated in Krishna consciousness so that according to democratic process they can select a first class devotee like Bharat Maharaj to head the government. If the head of state is headed by qualified Brahmanas, everything is completely perfect. In this verse, the evolutionary process is indirectly mentioned. The modern theory that life evolves from matter is to be some extent supported in this verse because it is stated Bhutesh Virudhya. That is, the living entities evolve from the vegetables, grass, plants, and trees, which are superior to dull matter. In other words, matter also has a potential to manifest living entities in the form of vegetables. In the sense, life comes out of matter, but matter also comes out of life, as Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita 10.8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. There are two energies, material and spiritual, and both originally come from Krishna. Krishna is the supreme living being. Although it may be said that the material world, a living force, is generated from matter, it must be admitted that the original matter is generated from a living, supreme living being. Nityo Nityanam Chetana. Katha Upanishad 2.2.13. The conclusion is that everything, both material and spiritual, is generated from the Supreme Being. From the evolutionary point of view, perfection is reached when the living entity attains a platform of Brahmana. Brahmana is a worshipper of the Supreme Brahman, and the Supreme Brahman worships the Brahmana. In other words, a devotee is subordinate to the Supreme Lord. The Lord is inclined to see the satisfaction of his devotee. A Brahmana is called Dvijadeva, and the Lord is called Dvijadeva Deva. He is the Lord of Brahmanas. The evolutionary process is also explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya, chapter 19, wherever it is said that there are two kinds of types of living entities, moving and non-moving. Among moving entities, there are birds, beasts, aquatics, human beings, and so on. Of these, the human beings are supposed to be best, but there are few. Of this small number of human beings, there are many low-class human beings like Mlechas, Blindas, Buddhas, and Sabaras. The human being elevated enough to accept the Vedic principles is superior. Among those who accept the Vedic principles are known as Varnashrama, present known as in the Hindu system. Few actually follow these principles. Of those who actually follow the Vedic principles, most perform fruited activity or pious activity for elevation to a high position. Manushanam Sahasreshu Kashiddhati Siddha. Out of many attached to fruited activity, one may be Jnani, that is, one philosophically inclined and superior to the karmis. Out of many attached to fruited activity, one may be Jnani, and Yatatam Abhi Siddhanam Kashimamiti Tattva. Out of many Jnanis, one may be liberated from material bondage, and out of many millions of liberated Jnanis, one may become a devotee of Krishna. न ब्रह्मणस्तुल्ये भूतमन्यात् पश्यामि विप्रा किमतः परं तु यस्मिन्द्रिभिर्प्रभुतं श्रद्धयाहम् अस्नामि कामं न तथाग्निहोत्रे. O respectful Brahmanas, as far as I am concerned, no one is equal or superior to the Brahmanas in this world. I do not find anyone comparable to them. When people know my motive after performing rituals according to the Vedic principles, they offer food to me with faith and love through the mouth of the Brahmana. When food is thus offered to me, I eat it with full satisfaction. Indeed, I derive more pleasure from food offered in this way than the food offered in the sacrificial fire. Purport. According to the Vedic system, after the sacrificial ceremony, the Brahmanas are invited to eat the remnants of the offered food. When the Brahmanas eat the food, it is to be considered directly eaten by the Supreme Lord. Thus, no one can be compared to qualified Brahmanas. The perfection of evolution is to be situated on the Brahminical platform. Any civilization not based on Brahminical culture or guided by Brahmanas is certainly a condemned civilization. Presently, human civilization is based on sense gratification. Consequently, more and more people are becoming addicted to different types of things. No one respects Brahminical culture. Hegemonic civilization is attached to Ugra Karma, horrible activities, and big industries are created to satisfy unfathomable lusty desires. Consequently, the people are greatly harassed by government taxation. The people are religious and do not perform the sacrifices recommended in Bhagavad Gita. Yagnat Bhavati Parjanya. By the performance of sacrifice, clouds form and rain falls. Due to sufficient rainfall, there is sufficient production of food. Guided by the Brahmanas, society should follow the principles of Bhagavad Gita. Then people will become very happy. Annat bhavanti bhutani. When animals and man are sufficiently fed with grains, they become stronger. Their hearts become tranquil and their brains peaceful. They can then advance in spiritual life, life's ultimate aim, destination. Hritatanud ushati me purani. Yeneha sattvam paramam pavitram. Samodama satyam anugrahascha. Tapasti dikshanubhavascha yatra. Translation: The Vedas are my eternal, transcendental sound incarnation. Therefore, the Vedas are Shabda Brahma. In this world, the Brahmanas thoroughly study all the Vedas, and because they assimilate the Vedic conclusions, they are also to be considered Vedas personified. The Brahmanas are situated in the supreme transcendental mode of nature, Sattva Guna. Because of this, they are fixed in mind control, Sama, sense control, Dhamma, and truthfulness, Satya. They describe the Vedas in their original sense, and out of mercy and graha, they preach the purpose of Vedas to all conditioned souls. They practice penance, tapasya, and tolerate diksha, and they realize the position of the living entity and the Supreme Lord Anubhava. These are the eight qualifications of Brahmanas. Therefore, among all living entities, no one is superior to the Brahmanas. Purport. This is the true description of a Brahmana. A Brahmana is one who has assimilated the Vedic conclusions by practicing mind and sense control. He speaks the true version of the Vedas. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Vedesha Sarver Aham Eva Vedya. By studying all the Vedas, one should come to understand the transcendent position of Lord Sri Krishna. One who actually assimilated the essence of Vedas can preach the truth. He is compassionate to conditioned souls who are suffering the threefold miseries of this conditioned world due to their not being Krishna conscious. A Brahmana should take pity on the people and preach Krishna consciousness in order to elevate them. Sri Krishna himself, the supreme person of Godhead, personally descends into the universe from the spiritual kingdom to teach conditioned souls about the values of spiritual life. He tries to induce them to surrender to him. Similarly, the Brahmanas do the same thing. After assimilating the Vedic instructions, they assist the Supreme Lord in his endeavor to deliver conditioned souls. The Brahmanas are very, very dear to Supreme Lord due to their higher sattva guna qualities, and they also engage in welfare activities for all conditioned souls in the material world. Mato api anantat parata parasmat स्वर्गापवर्गा धीपतेर्न किंचित येषां किम उस्यत इतरेण तेषाम् अकिंचनानां मयि भक्ति भाजम. Translation: I am fully opulent, almighty and superior to Lord Brahma and Indra, the king of the heavenly planets. I am also the bestower of all happiness obtained in the heavenly kingdom and by liberation. Nonetheless, the Brahmanas do not seek material comforts from me. They are very pure and do not want to possess anything. They simply engage in my devotional service. What is the need of their asking for material benefits from someone, anyone else? Purport. The perfect Brahmanic qualification is stated herein. Akinchanana mai bhakti bhajam. The Brahmanas are always engaged in devotional service of the Lord. Consequently, they have no material wants, nor do they possess material things. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains the position of pure Vaishnavas who are anxious to return home back to Godhead. Niskinchanasya Bhagavad Bhajano Mukhasya. Those who actually want to return back home to Godhead are Niskinchana, that is, they have no desire for material comfort. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advises Sandarshanam Vishainam Athayoshitam Cha Ha Hanta Hanta Vishabhakshanto Apiya Sadhu. Material opulence and sense gratification to the association of women are more dangerous than poison. Brahmanas who are pure, Vaishnavas, always engage in the Lord's devotion service and are devoid of any desire of material gain. The Brahmanas do not worship the demigods like Lord Brahma, Indra, or Shiva. for any material comfort. They do not even sing, ask the Supreme Lord for material profit. Therefore, it is concluded the Brahmanas are superior living entities in this world. Sri Kapil Dev also confirms in Srimad Bhagavatam 3.2.33. Tasman Maya Arpita Sesha Kriyarthatma Nirantara Maya Arpita Mana Pumso Maya Sanyasta Karmana Na Pashyami Param Bhutam Akartu Samadarashanat. The Brahmanas are always dedicated to the Lord's service with their bodies, words, and mind. There is no better person than a Brahmana who thus engages himself and dedicates himself to the Supreme Lord. Sarvani Madhishanyatata Dayabhavatpi Charanabhutani Sutadrubani Sambhavitavyani Pade Padevo Vivikta Drigbhis Tadhu Harahanam Me Sarvani. For transition, my dear sons, you should not envy any living entity, be he moving or non-moving. Knowing that I am situated in them, you should offer respect to all of them at every moment. In this way, you offer respect to me, Purport. In this verse, the word Vivik Drigbhi, meaning without envy, is used. All divinities are the abode of Supreme Wisdom Godhead in his Paramatma feature, as confirmed in Brahma Samhita. Andandarastam Paramanucha Antarastam. Lord is situated in the universes Garvadakshaya Vishnu and Shirodakshaya Vishnu. He is also situated within every atom. According to the Vedic statement, Isavashyam idam sarvam. The Supreme Lord is situated everywhere, and wherever he is situated is his temple. We even offer respects to the temple from a distant place. Non-living entities should be similarly be offered respect. This is different from theory of pantheism, which holds that everything is God. Everything has a relationship with God because God is situated everywhere. We should not make any particular distinction between the poor and rich, like the foolish worshippers of Daridra Narayan. Narayan is present in the rich as well as poor. One should not simply think Narayan is situated among the poor. He is everywhere. An advanced devotee will offer respect to everyone, even to cats and dogs. विद्या विनये सम्पन्ने ब्राह्मणे गविहस्तिनि सुनीचैव स्वपाके च पंडिता समदर्शिना. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and dog-eater outcast. This Samardarshana equal vision should not be mistaken to mean that the individual is same as the Supreme Lord. They are always distinct. Every individual person is different from the Supreme Lord. It is a mistake to equate the living individual living entity with the Supreme Lord on the plea of Vivik Drik and Samadrik. The Lord is always in an exalted position, even though he agrees to live everywhere. Srila Madhvacharya, quoting Padma Puran, states, Vivikta Drishti Jivanam Dishanyataya Parameshwaram Bheta Drishti. One who has clear vision and who is devoid of any envy can see that the Supreme Lord is separate from all living entities, although he is situated in every living entity. Madhacharya further quotes from Padma Puran. Upapadayet paratmanam जीवेभ्यो या पदे पदे भेदनैवे च चैतास्मत् प्रियो विष्णुस्तु किंचन कश्चन. One who sees the living entity and the Supreme Lord as always distinct is very dear to the Lord. Purana also states, Yo Hare Shaiva Jivanam Bhed Vakta Hare Priya. One who preaches that living entities are separate from the Supreme Lord is very dear to Lord Vishnu. मनोवाचोदृक्कर्णे हितस्य साक्षात् कृतं मे परिभारनं हि वीणा पुमान्येन महाविमोहत् कृतन्तपासन्न विमुक्तिमेषित्. Translation. The true activity of sense organs, mind, sight, words, and all the knowledge gathering and working senses is to engage fully in man's service. Unless his senses are thus engaged, a living entity cannot think of getting out the great entanglement of material existence, which is exactly like Yamraja's stringent rope. Purport. As stated in Narad Pancharatra. Sarvobadhi vinirmukta tatparatvena nirmalam ऋषिकेन ऋषिकेश सेवनम bhakti ruchyate. This is the conclusion of bhakti. All the time, Lord Rishabdev has been stressing devotion service, and now he is concluding by saying that all the senses should be engaged in Lord's service. There are five senses by which we gather knowledge and five senses by which we work. These 10 senses of the mind should be fully engaged in Lord's service. Without engaging them in this way, one cannot get out of clutches of Maya. I repeat, without engaging them in this way, one cannot get out of the clutches of Maya. Shri Shukavacha एवं मनुषास्यात्मजन् स्वयं मनुशिष्टनपि लोकानुशासनार्थं महानुभाव परमसुहृद्भगवान् ऋषभपदेश उपसमाशीलनम् उपारत कर्माणं महामुनीना भक्तिज्ञानवैराग्यलक्षणं परमहंस धर्म अप उपशिक्ष्यमानस्वतनया सता ज्येष्ठं परम भगवतं भागवत जनपरायणं भरतं धरानि पालानायाभिषिच्या स्वयं भवन एवोर्वरिता शरीरा मात्र परिग्रहा पुनमत्ता इव गणाना परिधान प्राकीर्न केशा आत्मनो आरोपिता हवानियो ब्रह्मवर्तात् प्रवव्रजा. Sukdev Goswami said, thus the great well-wisher of everyone, the Supreme Lord Rishabdev, instructed his own sons. Although they were perfectly educated and cultured, he instructed them to set an example of how a father should instruct his sons before retiring from heavenly life. Sannyasis who are no longer bound by fruited activity and who have taken to devotion service after all their desires, material desires, have been vanquished, also learn by these instructions. Lord Rishabdev instructed his 100 sons, of whom the eldest Bharata was very advanced devotee and follower of Vaishnavas. In order to rule the whole world, the Lord enthroned his eldest son on the royal seat. Thereafter, although still at home, Lord Rishabdev lived like a madman, naked and with disheveled hair. Then the Lord took the sacrificial fire within himself and left Brahmodra to tour the whole world. But actually, the instructions given to Lord Rishabdev's sons were not exactly meant for his sons because they were already educated and highly advanced in knowledge. Rather, these instructions were made for sannyasis who intend to become advanced devotees. Sannyasis must abide by Lord Rishabdev's instructions while on the path of devotional service. Lord Rishabdev retired from family life and lived like a naked madman, even while still with his family. जडन्धामुकबन्धिरा पिशाचो मदकावद् अद्वधूतो वेशा अभिभास्यामनो अपि ज्ञानं गृहीतमौनव्रतस्तूष्णीं बभूव. After accepting the feature of Avdhuta, a green-shadely person without material cares, Lord Rishabdev passed through human society like a blind, deaf, and dumb man, an ideal stone, a ghost, or a madman. Although people called him such names, he remained silent and did not speak to anyone. The word Avduta refers to one who does not care for social conventions, particularly the Varnashram Dharma. However, such a person may be situated fully within himself and be satisfied with the Supreme Wisdom Godhead on whom he meditates. In other words, one who has surpassed the rules and regulations of Varnashram Dharma is called Avduta. Such a person has already surpassed the classes of Maya and he lives completely separate and independent. तत्र तत्र पुरग्रामाखराखेता वत खर्वत शिबिरव्रजाघोषा सारर्थगिरिवनाश्रमदिष्वनुपातम् अवानिचारापसियतै परिभूयमानो मक्षिकाभिरिव वनगजस्तार्जन तदा न वहे मेहन स्थीवनग्रवासकृद्रजा प्राक्षेपपुतिवत दुरुक्तेस्तद् अभिघानयन् एव संस्थान एतस्मिन् देहोपलाक्षेने तदपदेश उभयानुभाव स्वरूपेण स्वमहिमावस्थानेन समरोपिताहं मम भीमानत्मत् अविखण्डिता मनः पृथ्वीम् एकचार परिभाभ्रवा. Rishabh, they begin to tour through cities, villages, mines, countrysides, valleys, gardens, military camps, Cowpens, the home of cowherd men, transit hotels, hills, forests, and heritage. Wherever he traveled, all bad elements surrounded him, just as life around the body of element coming from forest. He was always being threatened, beaten, urinated upon, and spat upon. Sometimes people threw stones, stool, and dust at him, and sometimes people passed full air before him. Thus people called him with many bad names and gave him a great deal of trouble. But he did not care about this, for he understood that the body simply meant for such an end. He was situated on a spiritual platform, and being a spiritual glory, he did not care for all these material insults. In other words, he completely understood that matter and spirit are separate, and he has no bodily conception. Now, without being angry at anyone, he walked through the whole world alone. Purport. Narottam Das Thakur says, Deha Smriti nahi ara, samsara bandhana kahantara. When a person fully realizes that the material body and world are temporary, he is not concerned with pain and pleasures of the body. As Sri Krishna advises in Bhagavad Gita 2.14. Matra स्पर्शास्तु कौन्तेय शीतोष्ण सुखदुःखदा agamapaino nityastam titishvasa bharata. O son of Kunti, the non-apparent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance to due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception. O son of Bharata, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. As far as Rishabdev is concerned, it has already been explained. Idam shariram durvibhavyam. He did not at all possess a material body, and therefore he was tolerant of all the trouble offered to him by the bad elements in society. Constantly, he could tolerate people throwing stool and dust upon him and beating him. His body was transcendental and consequently did not at all suffer pain. He was always situated in a spiritual bliss, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 18.61. ईश्वर सर्वभूतानां हृदयेषु तिष्ठति ब्रह्मायन् सर्वभूतानि यन्त्रारूढानि मायया. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities, who are seated on a machine made of material energy. Since the Lord is situated in everyone's heart, he is in the hearts of hawks and dogs also. If hawks and dogs in the material world bodies live in fifthly places, one should not think that the supreme person of Godhead in this Paramatma feature also lives in fifthly place. Although Lord Rishabdev was maltreated by the elements, bad elements of the world, he was not at all affected. Therefore, it is stated here. Swamahima Vasthena. He was situated in over glory. He was never saddened due to being insulted in many ways described above. अतिसुकुमारकारचरणयोरस्थाल विपुलभांशगालवदनदे अव्यया विन्यसा प्रकृतिसुन्दरा स्वभावहास सुमुखो नवननीन दलायमानशिशिर तारनुनायताननरुचिर सादृशा सुभाग कपोलकर्णकण्ठनशो विभूतस्मिति विदनामहोत्सवेन पुरा वनितानं मनसि कुसुमासरासनम् उपधाधमाना प्रहग अवलम्ब्याना कुटिलजटिलकपिश केशभूरिभारो अवधूतमलीन निज शरीरेण ग्रह गृहीत इवादृश्यता. Translation. Lord Rishabdev's hands, feet and chest were very long. His shoulders, face and limbs were all very delicate and symmetrically proportioned. His mouth was very beautifully decorated with his natural smile, and he appeared all the more lovely with his reddish eyes, spread wide like the petals of a newly grown lotus flower covered with dew in early morning. The irises of his eyes were so pleasing that they removed all the troubles of everyone who saw him. His forehead, ears, neck, nose, and all other features very beautiful. His gentle smile always made his face beautiful, so much so that he even attracted the hearts of married women. It was as though they had been pierced by arrows of Cupid. About his head was an abundance of curly matted brown hairs. His hair was disabled because his body was dirty and did not taken care of. He appeared as if he was haunted by a ghost. Although Lord Rishabh's body was very much neglected, his transcendental feature was so attractive that even married women were attracted to him. His beauty and dirtiness combined to make his beautiful body appear as though if were haunted by a ghost. Here he vavas bhagavan lokam himam योगस्यद्य प्रतिभम् इव चाक्षणस्तत्प्रतिक्रियकर्मभिभत्सितम् इति वृतम् अजगारम् स्थिता शयन एव स्मृति पिबति खदति अवामेहति ददति स्म चेष्टामन्न उच्चरिताधिघो देशा. My Lord Rishabdev saw that the children populations were very antagonistic to his execution of Mr. Yoga. He accepted the behavior of a python in order to counteract their provision. Thus he stayed in one place and lay down. While laid down, he ate and drank. He passed stool and urine and rolled in it. Indeed, he smeared his whole body with his own stool and urine so that opposing elements might not come and disturb him. Purport. According to one's destiny, one enjoys allotted happiness and distress, even though one keeps himself in one place. This is the injunction of Shastras. When one is spiritually situated, he may stay in one place, and all his necessities will be supplied by the arrangement of Supreme Controller. Unless one is preacher, there is no need to travel all over the world. A person can stay in one place and execute devotional service suitably according to time and circumstance. When Rishabdev saw that he was simply being disturbed by traveling throughout the world, he decided to lie down in one place like Python. Thus he ate, drank, and he passed stool and urine and smeared his body with them so that people would not disturb him. तस्याय पुरुषासुरभि सौगन्ध्य वायुस्तं देशं दशायोजनं समतन् समन्तात् सुरभिं चक्कर. Because Lord Rishabdev remained at condition, the people did not disturb him. But no bad aroma emanated from his stool and urine. Contrary to the stool and urine were so aromatic that they filled 80 miles of the countryside with a pleasant fragrance. But from this, we can certainly assume that Lord Rishabdev was transcendently blissful. His stool and urine were so completely different from material stool and urine that they were aromatic. Even in the material where cow dung is accepted as purified and antiseptic, a person can keep stacks of cow dung in one place and it will not create a bad odor to disturb anyone. We can take it for granted that the spiritual world, stool and urine, are also pleasantly scented. Indeed, the entire atmosphere become very pleasant due to Lord Rishabdev's stool and urine. एवं गोमृक काकचर्याय व्रजं स्तिष्ठानशिना शयना काकमृगो गोचरित पिबति खदति अवेमहति स्म. In this way, Lord Rishabdev followed the behavior of cows, deers, and crows. Sometimes he moved or walked, and sometimes he sat down in one place. Sometimes he lay down and behaved, exhibited like cows, deer, and crows. In that way, he ate, drank, passed stool and urine, and cheated the people in his way. Being the supreme person of Godhead, Lord Rishabdev possessed a transcendental spiritual body. Since the general public could not appreciate his behavior and yoga, mystic yoga practice, they began to disturb him. To cheat them, he behaved like crows, cows, and deer. इति नानायोगचर्याचरणो भगवान् कैवल्यपति ऋषभो अविरात परम महानन्दानुभाव आत्मनि सर्वेशम् भूतानामात्मभूते भगवति वासुदेव आत्मनो व्यावाधानानन्तरोदर भवेन सिद्धा समस्तार्थ परिपूर्णो योगैश्वर्याणि वैहाय सामनो जावान्तर्धान परकाय प्रवेश दुराग्रहणाधिनि यदृच्छायोपगातानि नन्दसा नृपाहृदयेन भा नन्दात्. O King Parikshit, just to show all the yogis the mystic process, Lord Vrishabdev, the planet expansion of Lord Krishna, performed wonderful activities. Actually, he was the master of liberation and fully absorbed in transcendent bliss, which increased a thousandfold. Lord Krishna Vasudev, the son of Vasudeva, in his original source of Lord Rishabdev, there is no difference in their constitution, and constantly Lord Rishabdev awakened the loving symptoms of crying, laughing, and shivering. He was always absorbed in transcendent love. Due to this, all mystic powers ultimately approached him. Thus, the ability to travel to an outer space and the speed of mind to appear and disappear, to enter the bodies of others, and to see things far, far away. Although he could all do this, he did not exercise his powers. Purport. In the Chaitanya Chandamrita, it said, Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Mataya Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhikami Sakalya Shanta. The word Shanta means completely peaceful. Unless one desire is fulfilled, one cannot be peaceful. Everyone is trying to fulfill his aspirations and desires, be they material or spiritual. Those in the material world are Ashanta, without peace, because they have so many desires to fulfill. The pure devotee, however, is without desire. Anya Abhirashita Shanya. A pure devotee is completely free from all kinds of material desires. Karmis, on the other hand, are simply full of desires because they try to enjoy sense gratification. They are not peaceful in their life, not in the next, during the past, present, or future. Similarly, Jnanis are always aspiring after liberation and trying to become one with the Supreme. Yogis are aspiring after many siddhis, powers, anima, lagima, prapti, etc. However, a devotee is not at all interested in these things because he is fully dependent on the mercy of Krishna. Krishna is Yogeshwara, the possessor of all mystic powers, siddhis, and he is Atmaram, fully satisfied, self-satisfied. The yoga siddhis are described in the verse. One can fly in outer space without the aid of machine, and he can travel at a speed of mind. This means that as soon as yogi desires to go somewhere, desires to go somewhere uh, within the universe or even beyond this universe, he can do so immediately. One cannot estimate the speed of mind, for within a second the mind may go millions and miles. Sometimes yogis enter into the bodies of other people and act as they desire when their bodies are not working properly. When the body becomes old, a perfect yogi can find a young, evil body, give him his old body. The yogi can enter into the young body and act as his peers. Being a planet expansion of Lord Vasudev, Lord Rishabdev possessed all these mystic yoga powers, but he was satisfied with his devotional love of Krishna, which was evinced by the ecstatic systems such as crying, laughing, and shivering. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta Purvats of 5th canto, 5th chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Lord Rishabdev teachings to his sons. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare.